something's not right.
Oh!
Yeah, it's kind of gone straight into being live, I think.
We're live.
Yeah, I think so. I'll just go and double check. I mean, it's no big deal. It's just the way it works. Normally, it plays a little
Intro.
introduction video. Yeah. But occasionally, I think the box that I have to check to make that video play, I think occasionally I miss that. So I'll just quickly go to my website and just have a look, make sure it's all going, because obviously we don't want to
Maybe
be
we'll say
chatting.
I can say hi meanwhile to
Yeah,
everyone
go
who is
for it.
watching. And
Yeah.
if you're watching us, please let us know if we are live. But because we don't know if we should put on our fancy clothes, should we
Yeah,
put
that's
on
right.
our makeup?
That's right. Yeah, no, it's definitely going live, so that's all cool. No problem. It just means that we missed out that little preamble video, but that's not a big deal. So I will say hello. Hi there, Sabrina. How are you doing?
Hello, Nathan. Hello, everyone. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
How are you?
We're back for our third episode of our Speed It Up show. We had 2 previous episodes, and on those episodes, Sabrina talked about videos in the sort of hero section, background videos, and how to think about those. And then on the last one, Sabrina spoke about images and various different ways to optimize them, and so on and so forth. I confess I'm not entirely sure what we're going to cover today, so we will have to wait and see. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping, though, before we do properly begin. Thank you, Nero. Yeah, no video, no intro, just straight in. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part, but never mind. The end the end result is the same. We're back here. But if you are joining us for this show and you would like to comment, probably the easiest thing to do is make sure that you're logged in with a Google account and go here, which is wpbuilds.com/live. If you go there, then there's a little box on the right hand side, and you have to be logged into YouTube to use those comments. However, a neat little feature of the platform that we're using is that they actually embed a chat widget in the video. So if you are at that page, look at the top right of the video. No, that's top left, Nathan. That way, top right, over there somewhere. There's something that says live chat, and it's literally inside the video frame. And you can go in there, and that means you don't need to be logged into anything. The other option is if you are using Facebook to access this video, then we need to get permission from Facebook to know who you are. And you do that by going to wave.video/lives/Facebook, and you can in that way let us have your avatar and name and so on and so forth. So okay, that's it. That's all of our housekeeping. What have we got in store today, Sabrina? I know that you were hoping the video would be there so you could paste me the URLs in, but sadly that's not what happened. So we'll just have to wing it. What's on the agenda for today's Speed It Up?
So today we will do live show, really live, because we will look at the website that someone sent to us to look at. And by the way, if you want to send us a website, to suggest your website for audit in this show, to be audited live by me, which is free, there is thank you, Nathan, wpbuilds.com/speed. There is a form there where you can submit your website, and we might look at it in our next editions live. What are the bottlenecks there? What can be improved? What shouldn't bother you? And we'll do this today with 2 websites.
Okay, great. So these were people who submitted something over at that form. They obviously had seen a previous show or something and decided they wanted their site to be looked at by you. So hopefully, you never know, they might be in the comments. But if they are not, fear not, we will be posting this on the wpbuilds.com website. If you go to wpbuilds.com, there's an archives menu at the top. And if you go into the archives menu, you'll see there's one called Speed It Up. And if you click on that, you'll see the 2 episodes that we've got so far. And at some point in the next 24 hours or thereabouts, I will make sure that this one is available there as well. So you can write comments on that post and all of that kind of good stuff. So yeah, shall I share the screen with you? Shall I do that?
I think I should share the screen with you.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Shall I click the button? That's what I mean. Yeah.
Sure,
Shall I do it? You ready?
of
Okay.
course.
Here we go. Oh, there it is. All right.
Cool. So today we have two websites. Um, and we'll start with the one where we don't have access to the backend and it's staging side. So this is not imaginable, like it's not a fiction situation when someone would send me the website that is on staging because it's under development, for example, or because the client hasn't given permission yet for performance optimization. For example, my colleague would send me, can you have a look at it? And without any access, I just want to share today what we can see without any access on staging website. And just to be clear, you cannot compare staging to live. If you have access to live, you should be looking at it. But in some cases, you might not be having it. For example, when it's still under development and while developing website, before it goes live, you want to see what's already there, what are the bottlenecks, what can be. But obviously, if you are the developer, you have access to the backend of staging, which I don't have in this case. But let's look at it. I'll make this larger. Let's look at it. So what this is like the first impression, what I can see from the very first impression. Just before that, very first impression, the information that we have, it's staging, so it won't have core web vitals data, like real user experience data, which means we will need to try to replicate conditions under which people will be using it without having real user data. We will try to replicate it. This is the
Okay.
first thing that I can see here, right? The second thing, what I can see that site is serving .at. It's serving Austria. It's Austrian domain name. So it's for people who are in Austria, probably. Maybe they have clients from outside Austria, but their main target, because it's in Austrian, and because of the domain, we can tell that Austria is the target market. Okay, this is what we can see. We can see that there is a pop-up here. We can see that there is small background video. Let's see how it's loading. Again, I'm opening my Chrome development tools, Control-Shift-I, or you can do right-click and developers tools, inspect. I think
Yep.
on Mac it's the same, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I'll just take a look what's happening here. And so how do we test? How do we know how, without real user data, how can we suggest what kind of user experience people are having on this website? In this case, I would turn on VPN, switch it to Austria, or if my VPN doesn't have Austria, I will switch it to the country closest to Austria so
Right.
that I'm reaching the website from the closest point where the audience is, so I can replicate the experience, right? Then I would, before doing this, I forgot my my workflow. So before looking at network tab, I will open browser in incognito mode. I will paste it. I will switch VPN to Austria. I won't be doing it right now because I'm worried about my connection, but
Okay.
I would
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And then we need to test it in two ways. First, for desktop users, and second, for mobile users. Desktop users is simple. You just keep your desktop view, and you want in here network. There is this small thing here which can set what kind of connection you are using. So you want to put here, I have this custom cable 5 megabits. Obviously, some people have fiber, some people have Starlink, some people are using slow internet, but 5 megabits cable is what is used by page speed insights, by Lighthouse, by web page test, but by most of the testing lab testing tools that are testing lab results, not real user data, because real user data you don't need to pretend anything.
Yep.
You have real user data, right? So for lab tests, which we are doing now, this is lab test, for desktop, we would set cable 5 megabits, and we will see, probably I wouldn't need to do it because my speed is somewhat about that. So, and also what I would do, usually this window is taking part of the viewport, right? So if you have the second screen, I would put it on another screen, or I would put it at least separately so that it doesn't interfere with the actual loading experience.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense. Yep.
So full screen, Control F5, and we'll have a look at it. No, I cannot do full screen, sorry. Okay, it's
Here we
reloaded
go. Yeah, we can
immediately.
see now. Yeah. Yeah.
And we have things recorded here, but also I have an extension over here, Chrome Web Vitals extension by Eddie Osmani, that measures metrics during lab tests. So it measured data for me right now. And we can see that with desktop view, this website, with a throttling connection to 5 megabits per second, it has LCP of 1 second, good. Cumulative layout shift in green zone as well, very little, right? And that's what we can see. It's very easy. It's quickly. This is like our first impression, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is always a but. Like at this point, you would think that there is nothing to investigate here on desktop anymore because everything is green, everything is good, right?
Yeah, it looks that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But first, it's not live, but we cannot impact that now. But another thing, what I can clearly see here right now, okay, LCP is 1 second, but what is LCP? Because I see consent data that is taking half of the screen, and this might be counted as LCP. And maybe the background video is counted as LCP, and it makes difference between lab tests and real users' data. Because in lab test, you might have this number because this consent window is counted as largest contentful paint on the screen.
Right.
But when real users will be using your screen, your site, they would click that once and on all other pages it won't pop up. So probably a good idea would be, at least this is like the minimum that we can do, we are allowing cookies, we'll reload and we'll see the results now. And did you see it, Nathan?
I didn't notice anything different, to be honest. I was looking at the screen, but should I have seen something? No. What would I
But
miss?
this looked different, the screen looked different, the view
Okay.
different
No, I
from
didn't
what it
notice that, to be
was.
honest. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, something is different. But anyways, back to my point. And I'll open it now, and it's 1.6. So indeed, that consent thing was counted as LCP in this lab test. And now when we don't have it, something else is counted as LCP. On this website, it might be background video. It might be this piece of this title, or it might be this entire piece of text. And without real user data, we don't know what is counted as LCP. Just in August, Core Web Vitals had update where they are trying not to count background videos as LCP. They are trying to set up the evaluation in a way that background video is not counted as largest contentful paint, because if
Okay.
it is background, it's probably not the main information point on the page. It's not supposed to be the main information point. So for many websites which have background video, after August, they might have seen changes, positive changes in their LCP evaluation just because the algorithm changed.
Got it.
So,
Okay, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
So this is what we can see here. This is with desktop. Okay, so we figured out at this point that LCP was counted differently for people who already clicked consent and didn't click it. What would be the right way to act here? Not to act at all might be the way. I think it's the question more of user experience and of accessibility. Do you really want the cookies thing to be blurring your main content, or you don't want?
Right.
So I think it's going not to performance, but to user experience and to accessibility, this question. So we see that from performance standpoint, both versions are fine, right? The next thing what I would do for desktop and for mobile as well, so before starting auditing any website, I would define myself or with client or with the developer the important pages on the website, because people tend to test their home page, which is not their website. Homepage is a homepage, it's just one page, right? And to get the picture of your website performance, you need to test important pages. And important pages, it's pages where you direct people, landing pages. It might be checkout page. It might be the page that gets the page template that gets most of the traffic on your website. Say you have recipe website. So recipe template would, any recipe template, if they're all the same, would be an important page for your website. Then you might have news template, which is different from recipe. So you need to test news template as well. And if it's, for example, recipe website, categories would be really important page to test because people tend to use categories on recipe websites. They might not be using categories on news websites. You know, when you open news, you don't go to, okay, let me check all economic news for today. No. But if you open the recipe, you might go to something related. And and they usually have this button like see all recipes with this ingredient, or see all recipes of such kind, and it will bring you to the category, to archive page, to taxonomy or something, but it will be archive page. So archive page in that case, it depends on the website, which pages would be important. So before doing all this, you need to define important pages on your website and do the same with them, which we did just now with this page. Okay, all is good here. Let's test. It was so fast because I'm looking at time, and it.
Where does it go?
Yeah, where is going? of course, it's not everything that you would test, and of course, it's not everything you can get to know. But if we will go into everything, we won't get anywhere. Let's make the structure today, and we'll get into more details in our next episodes. So that was for the desktop. Another thing is to test for mobile, obviously. To test for mobile, what we will do, we'll set the throttling of connection to fast 3G. This is the same. This is what test lab testing tools use to run tests. So I will set the same here, and I will set. Usually, I have access to website Google Analytics and Google Search Console. So before choosing the device here, and before choosing the desktop device, I would go to Google Analytics and I would check out the resolution of the screen that are most used by users of this website.
Right, yeah.
Right. So knowing the information about majority of screens, I would set that in desktop. For example, if this some graphic website, it might be retina, it might be large screen and everything, so I will set it accordingly. Here usually if I don't know the device, I have different devices here, but if I don't know the device, I would just pick iPhone 12. In this case, I don't know the device, I will pick iPhone 12, and I throttled my connection. And I will reload it and I will check what's here.
Okay.
Let's see.
Here we go. Guess it's going to take a few moments. You always get the little language warning there, Google trying to be helpful.
But, let me just, because I can see something on this website I want us to look at, let me disable this options. Never translate this site. I learned Austrian.
I think it's German.
Is it German?
I think so. If there's anybody watching this who knows, let us know. But I'm pretty sure it's German, but I could be wrong.
Let's see. All right. So very happy we opened this website. I will reload it again. Just watch closely what's happening.
Yep, you're getting it loading in sort of 4 different sections, aren't you? Or at least it's appearing.
Something like, even without any tools, without anything telling you anything, you can tell that the visual picture is not stable. It wasn't stable. Something was blinking, something was moving. It shouldn't be like this. And this is what CLS, Cumulative Layout Shift, is responsible for. And if I open here, let's see, interesting. We can see that lattice contentful paint here is very high, and cumulative layout shift is not showing. It's not an uncommon situation that lab tests not always replicating what's happening. But the cumulative shift was there, and I saw it, and I'm going to investigate what's happening there. I'll open my beautiful DevTools, and I'll do Control-Shift-P. This will open this small
a window panel.
Yeah, where I can choose the option show. I never type it like this. I always type it layout shifts. Show layout shift regions. That's what I'm going to pick here. And I will go back, do Control F5. It doesn't work for... it's because of my... Okay. Now I clearly can see the shift in here, but it's not highlighted. So in this case, like, I see the shift even with my eyes, I can see this shift, and it means that I need to investigate why and where it's happening, but it's not highlighted. Then I will go to my fast 3G and I will throttle the connection even slower. I will do slow 3G. I will do Control F5 again. To catch the place where the things are shifting.
There.
Okay, I can see, you saw it too, right? I can
Yeah.
see it visually, but it wasn't highlighted. In this case, this is a tricky case, by the way. In
Picked a
this
good one.
case, in this case, and also why LCP is so. Now you can see why LCP was so high, because look at this again. I will open this thing. It's 11 seconds now because I
Wow.
throttled
Yeah, of course. I
I
guess it's
throttled the connection, right? It was 5
taking
seconds,
longer.
but when
Yeah,
I
yeah,
throttle
yeah,
it,
yeah.
I can get more information by throttling the connection. But look at it again. Title loaded, text loaded, it shifts.
Yeah. And we're still waiting. There, just there.
Still waiting. We are still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. We are still waiting. And what we are waiting for? We are waiting for this moving part.
The whatever that is in the background that's moving. Yeah.
Yes, the small background is counted as LCP.
Got it.
In
Yeah,
this,
I'm with you. Yeah, yeah, yep.
so it's counted as LCP. The the interesting thing is that in Core Web Vitals, when this website goes live, in Core Web Vitals, it might not be the case because, and this is tricky thing too, because there are different algorithms, there are different versions of Lighthouse that are used by this Chrome extension, by Lighthouse in my browser, and by Lighthouse version that Core Web Vitals uses.
Got it.
So it might be at this stage, I would be worried, like if site is not live, I would be worried about CLS for sure, because it's this thing should be fixed. It will be the same on live site. But about background video, I would probably wait. I wouldn't put any time, and time means money because it's developers' time. It's money that someone pays, client pays, someone is paying it. I would probably do nothing on staging in this case because it's edge case, and no one knows how it will be loading live. So probably I would do nothing with this background image while it's on stage and while it's on live. And when the data is collected, I would just keep an eye on it. I would keep an eye on it, knowing that we might have this problem. And if it confirms we do have problem there, I would go and fix whatever is going with background video. But about CLS, actually, here we don't see any CLS, but it was here. It was clearly there.
Yeah, you could see something, couldn't you? For sure, yeah.
Right. So I'm not going to do it right now, but I will tell the algorithm how to, in this case. So I showed how to highlight these moving parts. Chrome development tools, devs tools, is supposed to highlight them, but it didn't work. It didn't highlight them. What we can do in this case, we can add either in browser itself or somewhere in CSS, we can add the CSS rule saying add red border. Just instead of border, use outline attribute. Add outline of red color 1 pixel to every single element on the page.
Right.
And then when it's loading, you will see which part is moving. And then you will be able to investigate why it's moving. And here is the trick, another shortcut. Most of the times, the part that is moving has nothing to do with movement. It's probably something that above it is
Right.
causing it to move.
Right.
So once you um, understood what is moving, just go through the code and see what is before that. Maybe most usual scenario that this, because this part was lower, then it got up, right?
Yeah, it moved
Most
a few pixels up, didn't it? You're right. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, most likely that CSS that is defining this space is loaded after everything else is loaded.
Yeah.
So most likely scenario here is that you would just need to define the CSS earlier. And this is it, just check where it's defined. If it's custom CSS, it's very easy to move around. If, for example, there might be a case where this CSS is in plugin, in theme, and you cannot impact that directly, right? So the way to fix it in this case would be either to use sorry, I am promoting WP Rocket every single time,
It's
but
okay.
um, to use used CSS that would extract all CSS from the page and put it in the head section. This is one scenario. Another scenario, I do this a lot for Divi or Elementor, where there are a lot of add-ons and there are a lot of styles added in different places, not in one place, and they are overlapping and everything. You can just put it in, not in style CSS, but in functions PHP. You can put it in WP head section. If this thing happens, especially on every page, for example, it's connected to navigation bar, just put those few lines of CSS in the head section of the site so that you don't wait while the main CSS of the plugin or add-on is loaded, but you have it right from the very beginning when the page starts to loading. This will be the way to fix it.
That's
All
neat. There's
right.
some really good suggestions in there. So first of all, throttle the connection and keep going backwards, throttling it more and more until you notice things. But also go in and add a solid 1 pixel red border around things and throttle it more, and then you'll be able
Mhm.
to see what's going on. And then maybe you need to take some aggressive action with where the CSS is loaded and in what order, and combining
Yeah,
it into the head. Got it.
just one detail. It shouldn't be border, it should be outline because
Outline. I apologize. You did say that. Yeah, you're
yeah,
quite right.
because border is taking that
Yep.
1 pixel,
Yep. And adding to it. Yeah.
yes, and
Yeah.
outline is not, and the
Yeah.
border is bringing new layout
Yep.
shift.
Yeah, you're right. You could, yeah, you could. Who knows what that 1 pixel all around the edge might do? It might be
Yeah,
catastrophically bad for a pixel perfect layout.
so yeah,
Okay, that's great. There was loads in there.
thanks. So LCP issues, they are really straightforward. They are very easy to identify. Sometimes they're not easy to fix because of how the website is built. But to identify LCP issues, it's not that hard. But for CLS, for cumulative layout shift, it's very hard to identify the issue, and then fixing it. It's the work of 2 minutes. You just add right CSS rules, and this is it. But to identify where it's happening, which rules you need to add, usually it takes a lot of time. And I just want to add to this, maybe we'll, if we have another example, someone suggests us a website with a CLS issue, maybe we'll go in that much in detail in next episode.
Okay.
But just for someone who is having trouble right now. So if showing layout shift with Chrome DevTools didn't work, if red border didn't work, what else you can do? Because red border might not work as well. You might be just too confused. You might not be seeing what's causing the issue. So in case these two didn't give you the answer, in 90% of cases, it would give the answer, but sometimes it's not. I'll show it just quickly. There is a tab here, sources, and then you have overrides. Using overrides, you can save, basically you are saving the code and all assets of the page on your computer, and you can edit it later.
Got it.
Like
Yeah,
you are
yeah, yeah.
saving, like old school, like where we're saving web
Yeah,
pages as HTML.
yeah.
That's what it does. So you can save this page HTML to your computer. You can edit it, and you sometimes I need to remove everything, like bit by bit. I am removing part of the page before I find out what is causing layout shift, because I just don't have any better way to figure out. So using overrides, you might be able to investigate what you were not able to investigate with previous tools.
Got it. Nice.
All right, let's move to the website. So this was staging. We can tell a lot about staging without even having access. But in some cases, for example, with LCP, what is counted as LCP, you might want to wait for real users' data to know either you want to bother with that or you don't. That was with staging. And let's look at the website now where that is live. We have another website here.
All righty.
Food photography.
Again, this was submitted by a user to our form, right? Have I got that right? Yeah.
So this is live site, right? And with any live site, I would start with the access to, I would ask access to Google Search Console and Google Analytics. Google Analytics to know where the users are coming from and what devices they're using and what are the top visited pages. That three things that I usually check in the very beginning. And then I would go to Google Search Console to know the current state of Core Web Vitals. So I would go to Core Web Vitals section in Google Search Console, and I will check information here. And here, usually, you would have detailed, very detailed, maybe someone would submit later a website with detailed information, and we will have opportunity to look at it. Usually, you have very detailed information about every single URL on your website that is having issues, and it will be structurized into groups, which by issues, LCP or CLS, and then it will be also grouped by template. So, for example,
Okay.
blog posts would be one group, recipes would be another group, and you can see the difference. This is very useful thing, Google Search Console. When it has data, you can see the difference between performance of different templates. You can see, for example, that your website is failing Core Web Vitals just because one template on your website. It might be something you can discover there. Because, for example, let's get back to recipe website. Recipe template, for example, has issue with CLS. There is CLS layout shift on recipe template, but all other templates are good and they are passing and they are fine, and both LCP and CLS and FID, they are passing, right? But because the recipe template is so attended, it's the most popular content on the website, it impacts the core web vitals total. It makes it that 75% of more than 75% of users get bad experience, so your whole core web vitals fail. But knowing exactly which template needs your attention saves you lots of time. You don't need to
Yeah.
go and guess, and you don't need to work on things that don't need your work. You can go lay down and read a book, you know.
Nice.
So, yes, if later on someone would send us a website with the access to Core Web Vitals where there is data, we'll go through that in detail. But now I want just to point out, what do you do if the website is live, but it doesn't have data here? There is no live data. It happens when there is very low traffic on the website. There are not many people coming to the website, so it didn't collect any data. What do you do? Most of the people would go to PageSpeed Insights and search, paste their homepage URL here, and get some data. But that data in PageSpeed Insights, it's outdated tool. It's not relevant. It's the topic for another episode. But in 2 words, PageSpeed Insights, it's not showing real user data, right? It's showing lab data. But the way it counts lab data is not accurate at all. Like at all, it has no relation to your website. That's why you need this Chrome extension, and you need to know the connection type and screen size of your users, so you can run your own tests for your users, knowing what connection they're using. For example, PageSpeed Insights use for testing mobile, it uses as device, it uses Motorola 4. Like Motorola Moto 4,
that feels like from a decade ago or more.
Yeah, even more.
Yeah.
Even more. I have never seen it in real life.
Yeah. Okay, I have, and it's a long time ago. Yeah.
It's a long time ago, and I'm not that young that, like, like I haven't seen old things. I did, but not that far. So that's what PageSpeed Insights uses even now to run tests. And it uses that fast 3G throttling. So it uses both outdated device with the screen size that doesn't match. It definitely doesn't match most of your users.
That's
With
fascinating.
processor.
Yeah.
And also your for example, we are both in the same room, connected to the same Wi-Fi, and having different phones, and we are accessing the same website from the same room, and we will have different performance experience because of our phones, because our phones will have different CPU, different processors, different RAM, memory,
all of that. Yeah.
different video memory, and they will process the data differently, and it will impact our experience. Both of some, and also we will be using different browsers on top of all, and browsers are adding another layer to our to the end experience that we are having. So it's connection,
There's a lot, isn't there? Yeah.
it's connection, it's location, it's device, it's browser, it's a lot of things, And with PageSpeed Insights, it's just standardized test for everyone, everywhere. On one hand, it's better than absolutely nothing because it just gives you an idea. It gives you just very basic understanding that performance is important. This is it.
Okay, so it gives you something, but not a fat lot that you can make use of. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you know what site you are looking at, don't use it. Use Chrome extension. It's the most accurate lab test that you can do. Set up VPN to the country that you're testing from, throttle connection, use Chrome extension to test. And in this case, we have live website, right? But we don't have any data, and we will do the same thing as we did on staging. We will go and do tests here, and knowing the sizes of screen and connection, we can throttle it the same.
Okay.
We don't have much time left. Let me just do.
Yeah, where did that go?
Let me just do mobile quickly, because most of users on most of users on most of the websites are mobile users now. Some websites don't have mobile users at all, just because people who are using them not using them from their mobile. But most of the website, like, it would be a good idea to test mobile first. So I'll set iPhone here. I will network change to fast 3G instead of slow 3G that I had before, and just let's take a look at it.
I'm going to watch carefully.
Let's see.
Oh, a lot going on there.
A lot. So in this case, when it's loading awfully slow with throttled connection, just to investigate what is happening, you want to unthrottle it, because it will take forever to understand what's happening. Let's unthrottle it. It's not reloading, sorry.
That's okay.
It's my keyboard, it doesn't reply always.
I wonder if this platform has stolen that keyboard shortcut. It's still doing that. Oh, no, it was significantly quicker to load the background image, but it's still loaded in two halves, didn't it, if you like?
Yeah. Significantly quicker, and it's fast enough so we don't fall asleep, but it's slow enough that we understand what is happening. Okay, so we have, let's say you have 2 minutes to audit this website. What we can see here, first, we would want to identify what is our LCP. Our LCP is the first slide on this slider, right?
Yeah.
The picture will be our LCP. Once we identified what is our LCP, we want to make sure that it's loaded as soon as possible and everything else is delayed. So we talked about this last
eager.
time. Yes, eager. We talked about this last time, about how to make slider loading fast. And it's simple answer. Just load the first slide first. You want to make sure the picture of the first slide is loaded before anything else, before anything else. And all other slides are lazy loaded. So this is easy to see, but this is the example of the case where it might be hard to do. For example, slider is provided by some plugin and you don't have access to modify the classes and so on and so forth. That might be tricky to do, but that should be done. So load first slide first, lazy load all other images. Now you want to make sure that logo is not lazy loaded. On this very page, you want to make sure about 2 things. First slide is loaded very early, which means it's not lazy loaded. Ideally, it's loaded eager. Ideally, it's preloaded. But at least, the very least you can do not lazy load first slide, do lazy load other slides. This is the basics, right? Logo, do not lazy load logo. Usually I would prefetch logo on every website, preload a logo on every website because it happens on every page, it's needed on every page. Just mind when you preload logo to preload different versions for desktop and mobile, because if you use different size of logo on desktop and mobile and you're preloading just one for everyone, it slows down that version that
Yeah.
doesn't match, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Another
Got it.
thing that I noticed here. So before the image was loaded, we could see this. We could see this icon, and I bet it's connected with JavaScript. I bet it's provided with a bundle of CSS. So you want to delay that before. You see, it's loaded
Yeah,
before the
it's
main
there right
image.
from the start, isn't it? And then that little
Yes,
icon comes
it's the
along.
first
Yeah.
thing that is loaded. No, this should be delayed. This should be the first slide should be the second. Then this picture should load the third. So your priorities would be first slide. This would be the third thing to load, and only after these images that are on slide 2, on slide 3, and so on. So probably you would want to exclude from lazy loading the first slide, logo, and this first image.
Yep.
And then you want to delay this stuff. Also, another thing is it's quite important. Look at header part again. Not nice, right?
Yeah, it's the wrong way around, isn't it? You got the menu and the phone icon before the logo, and that
No,
comes out
not
as
nice.
the
Look,
icon comes out as a little square at the start, didn't it? It was not there.
right. This is not nice. And remember, we're not throttling connection right now. So on throttled connection, it would be even less attractive.
Yep. Yep.
So what I would do here, like first thing slider, then excluding from lazy loading and delaying this stuff, but then I would take a look what's happening here and what is used here as icons. And here, okay, before. So it's the font
Font.
that is, yes, it's icon font that's coming from Elementor that is used. What we can do here, first of all, the right way to do this, not to use icon fonts, right? But it might be not easy to do. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, but the proper way not to use icon fonts at all. It's the proper way would be to use SVG only for icons that are using, because icon
Yeah.
font means that the font with different types of icons with all kinds of errors, emojis, like different types of icons are loaded on your website to show only 2 icons that are used, right?
Yeah, the phone and the little hamburger icon. Right.
Right,
Right.
right. Let's take a look. Fonts. And here are our fonts.
Looks like we got
Here
Font
it
Awesome
is.
in there as well.
Yeah. So this is 95 kilobytes that are loaded only to show these 2 icons. You don't need that, right? And the problem with icon fonts, not only in these 95 kilobytes that are loaded, it is the problem, yes, but even worse, that this icon font is called from CSS that is loaded. So first your HTML is loaded. After your CSS is loaded, only then your WOF file, font file is loaded. That's why it takes so long, because it's a long chain. While if you have it as SVG, First of all, you're not loading all this stuff, and you're not doing these steps. It's loading just from the page because SVG, it's inbuilt into HTML. That's what the first thing what I would fix here. So it's about time for us.
Yeah, we feel like we just got started, but yes, you're right.
Yeah,
It is. I mean, I guess we could carry on with that one next time. We'll be back.
maybe,
We'll be back
maybe.
next week. We don't know if we'll carry on with that, but I'll just quickly remind anybody who is watching this, whether you're live or you're watching this after the fact, just a quick reminder that if you want Sabrina to have a look at your site, and honestly, I think the people who were looking at that so far, they probably got a great deal out of that. Let's just take that off. So here's the form: wpbuilds.com/speed. It's suddenly got really dark in here. I just feel like it's nighttime.
Here
It's
as
actually not.
well.
Yeah, it's weird. Now that I can see me big, it looks like everything's really dark, but it's really not. wpbuilds.com/speed. If you want to drop us a form in there, then Sabrina will take a look. Please feel free. There's 3 different levels that you can give access to Sabrina, and we don't ask you to submit anything weird over the form. We just ask for your some basic details, including your email address and things, and then Sabrina will write you an email, and you can decide how you want to let Sabrina have access to your site, whichever way you want to securely give her the login credentials to that. So yeah, one last time: wpbuilds.com/speed. We'll be back next Wednesday. No, we won't. We'll be back next Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, where did it go? And hopefully we'll have some more interesting stuff for you then. At the beginning of the podcast, we failed to do the intro. Let's hope that we get the outro sorted this time. It's just like a little 10-second little video with some promotional stuff on it. But Sabrina, if that's everything, should we say see you next week?
Now, before we say goodbye, I just want to say that it's very sad to see that no one has commented except Nero, who
No, just right at the
in the
beginning,
very
just one
beginning.
person. Yeah, we've got
And
several
I
people.
don't know, is it because we are so boring, or it was just thought provoking and people didn't have time to
Yeah, who
comment?
knows? I mean,
If
there's
you
there's
are
definitely
watching
set
this,
this. Yeah, there are definitely
please
several
say
people
hi,
watching.
send us a comment. We'd love to know that
Yeah,
you're watching.
yeah. It's the nature of the beast, Sabrina. You can sometimes you can do an episode like this and you get like 50 comments. Another time you do it and you don't get anything, and it's just the way it goes. Sometimes you just have to be sanguine about it. But yeah, if you want to drop us a comment, feel free to do that. This will be posted onto I guess YouTube and things, but also it'll be in Twitter and things, so you can give us some comments there if you like. But yeah, that's it. I guess we'll knock it on the head there. I'll see you next week, Sabrina. Yeah.
See you next week, Nathan.
Take it easy.
Bye.